Hi, welcome to another presentation for 5th grade best practices in this unit. We've all seen memes like this floating around the internet making fun of some of the random scenarios you might see in math problems. Well, in this unit, you will encounter many real-world scenarios, unlike this one here involving all 4 operations. This scope or unit involves problem solving with all 4 operations. So that will include students solving multi-step real-world problems involving any combination of the operations, also including interpreting remainders. Students will also be exploring problem solving with money by multiplying and dividing multi-digit numbers with decimals, which they've seen in previous units. Here are 2 more additional key concepts you will be seeing in this unit. Students will be writing equations involving addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division in order to determine an unknown whole number. And finally, finding area and perimeter of rectangles with decimal side lengths using visual models. What does student learning look like in the classroom? Within all the explorers in this unit, students should be working in groups in order to share their solutions. When creating equations, allow students to use manipulatives such as place value discs and sentence strips to make tape charts in order to make sense of the problem. While solving money problems in Explore 2, be sure to allow students to use play money as a manipulative. Students should be estimating before solving in order to assess for reasonableness. It would also benefit students to use colored pencils and scissors when solving area and perimeter problems in order to grasp the full context of the problem and using that concrete work. These are all examples of MTR 1, 4, 6, and 7. What does student learning sound like in the classroom? These are ideas for questions that come from the STEMscopes math chat. First, students need to understand that within an equation, they need numbers, operation symbols, and sometimes variables. Students should continually be making sense of what it means to have a remainder or a leftover in a division problem. Students should be making connections to base 10 blocks and their previous work with adding and subtracting decimals when working with money. And they should be understanding the context of when to solve for area versus perimeter. And finally, within this entire unit, students should be discussing the reasonableness of these problems because estimation is very important for building true understanding. They may say things like close to or not too far off, as long as they understand what reasonable means. Here's a list of key vocabulary words that students and teachers should be using in their discussions and writing throughout this unit. It includes many different parts of all 4 operations and some problem-solving words students need to know in order to understand the context of real-world problems. Throughout the different explorers of this unit, there are many ways students should be demonstrating their learning. For example, giving them plenty of space to show their different strategies they use to solve and to explain their thinking. Definitely various ways of writing the equations because that is one of the focuses in this unit. Also, examples of how they wrote their solution and equation, but also how their estimation compared to their actual answer. Again, always thinking about reasonableness. And within area and perimeter, giving models such as the one you see here, using decimals as the dimensions. Finally, maybe a problem-based task such as this one that is from STEMscopes where students can really be grasping those real-world concepts. Here are 2 questions you can use to gauge student understanding of problem solving. Make sure students can verbalize how they know their equation matches the problem. This should also include understanding the correct operations to use. Students should also be able to explain how they estimate before solving and determine reasonableness in the context of a given problem. These and other questions can be found on SmathSmarts. It is important for learning to continue outside of the classroom, so this comes from the tic-tac-toe board on the STEMscopes parent letter. Mad Libs are not just a rainy day activity. You and your family can practice different math scenarios using the vocabulary from this unit. It will help build an understanding of how to solve math problems based on real-world contexts. Hopefully your students can enjoy story problems after this unit. Thanks for coming, and we will see you next time.